It's Calgary's podcast on the Canada's Podcast Network.
Today's guest is Daniel Berezan, founder of CultivatR.ca. Welcome to the show, Dan, and thanks for taking the time today to be here for our listeners.
Oh, great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Tell me a little bit about CultivatR, its history, how it started, and what it is.
So CultivatR it's a platform that we've developed that allows consumers to buy their groceries directly from producers. How it developed is my wife and I, we moved from the city out to the country, from Calgary out to the country about 3 years ago, and we got a chance to meet the people who actually produce our food. And we heard a disconnect about hearing them talk about how they weren't doing very well. But then we thought, geez, coming from the city, we paid a small fortune for groceries. How is this not working? So then we dove into it, and what we discovered is basically CultivatR.
Okay, tell me a little bit about doing business in Calgary. What are the benefits of doing business here?
I think number one is we have a really strong local community. You know, people do want to support local businesses and do want to work with you. I think people are very open-minded in Calgary in terms of supporting new businesses versus other places we've been. I think that's probably the biggest one.
Okay, what about challenges?
Challenges, I think, being a tech company, you know, we're Calgary's definitely starting to change. We're a little bit lacking in some tech. You know, I think we've got some amazing partnerships we're working with, like we work with Evolve U, which is a great program that they're trying to change that as well by bringing more tech people into Calgary. So tech's been a challenge, but we found a solution, and, you know, there are people working to make those changes.
Why would you recommend Calgary, say, to a startup, an entrepreneur looking to start up a business?
I think, again, it all depends on the type of business you have, but I would say Calgary is a very good place. Again, lots of local support. You know, lots of really people aren't afraid to introduce you to someone that they know that might be able to help you. You know, you can still have the personal relationships in Calgary. It's a big enough city that there's a huge market of customers, but it also still is, you can still have personal relationships with people.
When you look at, kind of like what you do on a daily basis and where your ideas for this comes from, and ideas for business, is there any place that you kind of go away from the business itself and just to recharge and reconnect with yourself?
I'm fortunate because I live outside. I do live outside of the city and on a quarter section. So I'm pretty lucky that I've got lots of space out there that allows me just time to chill and refocus. But there's lots of cool places in Calgary. I love Princess Island Park. I'm just going out there, sitting, hanging out. Lots of great thinking opportunities there.
Okay, what are you most excited about CultivatR these days?
I think there's two things that really excite me. One is eliminating the food waste. You know, our model allows people the opportunity to really eliminate food waste, which is very costly and very expensive. And then number two is by doing agriculture properly, and, you know, we kind of are working on something we call predictive agriculture, so that we that's how we eliminate the waste, and using AI and machine learning to help us do that. So what we're really excited about is coming up with a solution that not only is it good for a consumer's pocketbook, but it can help the environment dramatically as well. So That's what really, really excites us.
What's your vision for the future for the company?
It honestly is... We haven't really thought that far ahead in where it can go and what it can do. It's going to grow itself, and we'll see where it takes us.
Okay, now when you look back in hindsight, what do you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started the company?
I think we're still pretty young in CultivatR. Do that. I can definitely say, like in with some other business we've had, both from some failures and some successes, is that we've learned a lot. But this one's still pretty young to say that. So I'll refer that question to give me 6 months, and we'll probably have a long list of things then.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received about being an entrepreneur?
I think the number one thing is don't think of the big paycheck, think of the lifestyle. Right, like I think everyone thinks being an entrepreneur is this instant ticket to success, and that's what you hear about, as a company becomes $1 billion company overnight. Well, that's not really true. But what you have to think about is, why are you doing it? What are you doing it for? And I had someone say that to me once, and then it really resonated with me, because, it's the opportunity to have a better family life balance. That's why we do it. Is how do we build a business that allows us to have that? That's important in our cultures, all of our staff and employees. We think that they should have that balance, things like, I know we're still pretty young, but things like, we take the week off during Stampede because, well, A, it's hard to deliver to customers, and B, we think our employees should go and enjoy stuff like that, enjoy the rodeo, enjoy the fair, doing stuff like that. Same with the week after Christmas. Those are things we can do that don't really cost us anything, but just keep everybody happy.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears here and ask you some more personal type questions. Everybody has a bucket list these days. What's on top of yours?
To be honest, we don't have a bucket list. We're kind of weird that way. If there's something that's on there, we just kind of do it. Call it the entrepreneurial attitude. We don't like making lists of things to do. If there's something to do, we just go out and do it. So we're kind of different that way. Obviously, there's lots of things we might want in the future, but nothing that if it's sort of something we have to do before we die, we make sure we do it.
Okay. What about if you're not doing what you're doing now? What kind of job or profession do you think you'd be in?
I don't think I'd be suited for anything else. To be 100% honest, I'm not sure anyone would hire me for anything else. I'm a little too much of a disruptive thinker to fit in a lot of organizations. I know what I'd like. I know I have some other secret dream jobs I'd love to do, but that's we've got those, yeah.
What book are you reading right now?
I just finished reading, and it's kind of become the mantra of our company. Book to read is called Kiss the Dirt. Oh, sorry, Kiss the Ground. I forget who the author is off the top of my head, but it's kind of really maybe that's one of those things I wish I knew now before when I started, is as I read that book and some of the stuff they talk about, we've incorporated into our beliefs and into our practices with our producers to help educate them. Because that book's pretty cool about how we can actually make a change in our sort of environmental impact by just changing the way we eat, by eating healthier. And it was really inspiring and just also disheartening about at the same time about how there's easy solutions to things like global warming, but because of politics and other things, it doesn't allow us to do them. So I recommend that to read to anyone who's interested in it.
If you had one word to describe yourself, what would it be and why?
Probably different. I'm definitely different in just my train of thought, and that's probably which leads to pretty much who I am. So yeah.
Okay. When you look outside of Calgary and maybe outside of your farm as well, is there a favorite place in the world that you like to spend time at, and why?
Yeah, I think we've all had those life affirming trips. Laos was probably one for me. I'm not even sure if it's Laos or Laos, how to pronounce it, but that was definitely one of the trips I took that sort of changed my life and made me think more about how important family is. And that my wife and I are avid fly fishers, so we love fishing in Patagonia. We love fishing in Alberta too. So there's lots of places. There's no shortage of places.
Okay, we are creatures of habit and routine. Do you have a daily routine that you follow almost religiously?
I don't necessarily, again, I don't know if it's a joy or a punishment of a startup, is that we never have the same day twice, because we're always learning and doing new things. So we don't actually have a set routine, but we do have a few things we do. I read once from a VC on his Twitter account. One of the things he had said is every day you should write down 3 things on a Post-it note, put it on your phone, and those are the 3 things you must accomplish by the end of the day. So I started following that, and that's been really good. So that's probably my only routine. Okay,
I'm going to give you a kind of a different type of question here. Okay, so just imagine this. There's a beautiful small island, tropical island, middle of the ocean, with only one phone booth and no internet, no technology whatsoever. We're going to drop you off on the island, And you can use the phone booth at any time to call us, and we'll come pick you up. Now, how long do you think it would take you to make that phone call, and what do you think you'd be doing while you were there?
Probably about 30 seconds to make the phone call. And what I would be doing is probably like figuring out how can I get to the phone faster than that 30 seconds. We're very connected. I love technology and I love what it does. So it would be hard for me to go without it.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add, Dan, before you leave us today?
Oh, no, I think anyone who's interested, I'll have to throw in the sales pitch, but anyone who's interested in eating healthier in Calgary and eating, getting a chance to buy your food directly from a farmer, come check us out. And we're happy to answer any questions, or if you're looking for something that you haven't been able to find in a grocery store, talk to us and we'll see if we can find it for you.
Okay, thanks, Dan, for being our guest on Calgary's podcast.